Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something unbelievable to take a look at, something that I am so ridiculously hyped for, I can't even begin to explain it to you guys. We've got a full-size 1-to-1 scale version of a Compsognathus that was released by the Dinosaur Mine. Now, looking at it right now, it might not look like much other than an explosion or maybe a grenade that had killed a compy because there are just body parts everywhere, but since this is a 1-to-1 scale version, I know it's going to be pretty big, and I know it would be a kind of a hassle, I would say, to really get a good look at this as far as the closer look goes without doing it here in pieces, before I actually put it together. So I figured what we'll do is we'll take a closer look at it, then I'll put it all together, then I'll paint it, and then we'll take another look at it, of course, when it's finished. So let's go ahead and jump to that closer look right now. So starting with the head sculpt of our compy, you can straight away see it looks really cool. We've got some very nice, very fine skin texture and scale detail. Very impressive. We've got some creasing and wrinkling there underneath the eye. And you can also see, again, some more nice looking sculpt here to the lower jaw as far as the skin texture goes. The dinosaur has its mouth partially open, but not a whole lot. It's just at the point where you can see the teeth there on the inside of the mouth, and you can see that the entire way around, no matter what side you look at it. And what's really cool about this is I feel like it's almost like a healthy dose between a Jurassic Park style compy and a more accurate sort of style compy. It just has like a very different look, and I think it looks incredibly cool because of that. But as you move back, you can see the ears sculpted out back here. You can also see some nice creasing here as you reach the neck. As you lead down, you've got all kinds of skin creasing, some more skin creasing and wrinkling here as you lead down to the underside into the throat. Very nice looking fine detail here running along the underside of the throat, and you can genuinely see the throat itself there as you move down. And the skin texture, again, continues to look absolutely phenomenal, like out of this world skin texture here as you move down the course of the neck. And obviously, if you purchase this, you're going to get it unpainted, but look at how high quality the print is from Dinosaur Mine. Like, man, when it comes to 3D printed models, it's few and far between that you get models that look as good as this. And what else is cool is you'll see the actual fit here when I put this on. Look at how nice and crisp that is. Like, you almost don't even have any seams to fill. It's that good. So that also is really cool. I always love how smooth the fit is from any Dinosaur Mine models. But as you move down now into the body itself, into the torso, you can see some more wrinkling here as you lead down into the body. You've got a little bit more here in the lower side, the throat leading into the chest of our compy. You can see the bone structure leading up here into the arm. You can also see some muscle definition as you lead down into the arm. We can make out the rib cage here in the stomach region of the dinosaur. The stomach's kind of sucked in a little bit there, and you can kind of see some more skin wrinkles back there as you move up here and you get nice and close. You can see all kinds of varying sizes to the scales here on the side of the dinosaur leading up into the back. You can get a nice idea there of the spinal column moving along the back of the dinosaur. You can also make out the hip bone protruding from the skin right there quite nicely. As you lead down into the thigh, you can see some more nice muscle definition moving down, the skin kind of stretching off of the stomach right there. And again, some varying sizes of scales as you move through. You have all kinds of variation to the scales and the skin texture as you lead down. And you can see the kneecap right here as you lead down. And of course, we cut off there for the legs, and a little bit more detailing back here as far as like skin wrinkles and stuff as you would lead out into the tail. And then if you look here at the underside, again, absolutely incredible. You can also make out the bottom of the rib cage here as you move up into the chest region. This is definitely going to be an interesting one to paint. And then we've also got the remainder of the arms and the hands as you move down. You can see we've got some really nicely sculpted fingers, nicely sculpted out claws as well. You can make out the knuckles as you move down the course of the fingers, so you can see how incredibly highly detailed this is. Again, more really nice looking scale detail. You can continue to see the bone structure here of the fingers running up into the hand. Crazy, crazy impressive detailing on this compy. And of course, you're going to see pretty much the same thing over here, but you can see they're pretty similar as far as the positioning goes, just slightly different when it comes to, one arm to the other, but very, very similar. And then we've also got the legs for the compy. So if you start up here, you can see the calf muscle quite nicely as you move down. More, again, scale detail, more variation to the scales. You've got some creasing right there as you lead down into the foot sculpt. And we pick up on some really nice scoots moving down the foot here into the toes, and the toes look absolutely great. You can see some nice, cracks and crevices to the nails there of the foot of the toes, and you also have a dew claw present right there, which you can also see. This makes it so much easier to actually get a nice look at this stuff, whereas I'm normally like knocking stuff over, and I know this compy's got a long tail, so it just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to get a closer look at all of these pieces before we actually put it together. And then of course the other leg here is going to look pretty close to what we had just seen on the first leg. Again, absolutely magnificent fine detail, and again, like I said, the print quality is insanely high quality. And then we've also got the beginning here to the tail of our compy. As you take a look at it, all of the scale detail continues to look pretty much like we had seen through the rest of the model. Extremely impressive, extremely high quality. I love how you'll see like these larger scales popping up here and there, but when you get nice and close, you can see again lots of much finer scaling as you move through, as well as, just slight variations of like creasing in the skin and stuff. A lot of very impressive detailing through the course of this compy. And then we also have the remainder to the tail. Again, as we lead out, we have again a cluster of different varying sizes of scales there. As you lead out, we've got a really nice curve leading out here for the remainder of the tail to the tip, and that as well looks beautiful. And on top of that, we've also got a really nice base that you put your compy on, and you can see there are footprints here, and it looks like it's basically standing on like two either mounds of dirt or two rocks. I'm not entirely sure what you want to perceive these as, but it's really up to you. It just has a really nice earthy area here that our compy stands on, and I like this base. It's pretty cool how it's basically just two little areas for the feet to stand, just to give you that extra bit of a visual to it, an extra appealing visual, just to kind of set the scene a little bit. But I am so unreasonably hyped. I actually have had this here since this morning, and I've just been waiting to, I was very inclined to get it glued together right away, but I wanted to film this before I did that, so it was a little bit easier. But now the point has come where I can finally get this glued together. So here is my fully painted and fully finished version of the Compsognathus from the Dinosaur Mine. And honestly, it's going to be pretty hard to get this in here, because now with it actually fully assembled, it's quite large, and you can definitely see again that it is pretty darn big. And I think if you can't tell quite yet, you'll really be able to tell when we get this on the base and get a nice wide shot and everything of it. But I think it turned out pretty darn nice. I, of course, gave it those kind of Jurassic Park sort of colors, because it just felt like that's what would look best on the compy. I always like that coloration on Compsognathus. I always think it looks really nice, and you can really see how gorgeous the sculpt and fine detail is on this compy. Now, once it's actually built and put together, I'm still trying to do this very carefully, put together and, painted up again, it looks amazing. You can really see there's just so much life to it, and having it standing here, in my collection room now over the last few days, boy, I'm really trying not to smack anything. The tail is the hardest part here, because the tail is just so long. If you look here, as we lead out, that tail is absolutely gigantic. But after having it here now for a few days, and in the process of building it up, and then waiting for everything to dry correctly, as well as like the dull coat and everything, and the glossy areas, it just really looks like a living, breathing dinosaur here in my collection, in my room. And again, it's just one of the absolute most phenomenal looking sculpts that I've ever seen. And I did replicate the Lost World Jurassic Park colors for the most part. I might have gave it a little bit of like minor additions to this that maybe aren't seen on the Lost World Jurassic Park version, but I was really happy with it. Let me see if I could turn it around here. I was really happy with it. It doesn't look like we're going to get a good shot of this by turning it around, because there's just so much stuff over here to my side that are kind of just basically prohibiting me from giving you a really good shot of it. And of course, you'll see better shots of it, especially at the end of the video. But I was really quite happy with this, because again, the sculpt is so incredibly well done. And even though it did take a little while to paint, because it is a full-size dinosaur, it's something that I had an absolute blast doing. And now that it's finished, again, the payoff is just so incredible to have something like this. I've always wanted to paint a full-sized Compsognathus. I just never have had the pleasure of doing so. And now, thankfully, I have had that pleasure. So, really happy with this, really excited about this. Having a life-size dinosaur is always amazing, especially having one that looks this good. And then you've also got the base, and again, the base just is basically like two little areas here with footprints to put your dinosaur on. And then you have whatever you want to make of this. You can make it like a rocky sort of formation like I have here, or you could just make it like dirt mounds. You know, it's really up to you. But I felt like it looked like a pretty decent kind of appearance for like rocks. Definitely has that rocky, almost like a rocky ledge sort of look to it. So that's the coloration and paint scheme that I had gone with for it. And I'm definitely happy with the way this turned out as well. And I actually have not put the compy on this since I got it painted. So I'm definitely excited to actually put this together and get a look at it. So let's do that right now. And there we go. We now have the compy standing up here on its base, standing up here on my review station. And man, what a presence this model has. Like, that is unbelievable. And I really feel like the lights are kind of going to, glare away how good the sculpt and probably paint and everything looks from this angle. But man, does this thing ever look amazing. I don't know if maybe I dim this light a little bit, if that'll help. Maybe it just made it a little too dark. I'm not too sure, but it really is, again, an incredible model. And once you actually step back and you just kind of absorb how amazing that is to have a dinosaur model this large here standing in my collection, it really is amazing. But definitely an incredible visual that, without question, is going to spark the interest of anybody that comes into your house if you happen to purchase one of these. But I'm very intrigued to get a size on this. It's going to be very hard to do so since I have to actually pick the camera up and everything here just to kind of look at it, but we'll try our best. So for a height, even though you probably can't really see too well because we're still down a little bit too low, but you are looking at about 19 inches, maybe about 19.25 inches, or around the 14.9 centimeter mark. So extremely impressive when it comes to a height standpoint, but the length is really going to be the kicker. So lengthwise, you were looking at about 32.25 inches, or somewhere in the 80 centimeter range, somewhere around there. It was a little hard to really get that measurement because I couldn't really hold the camera and, position the tape measure correctly. But absolutely, as I said, it definitely is an amazing model. Easily one of the largest models I have in my collection. Maybe the largest model that I've ever actually painted. So the length a moment ago was about 82 centimeters. I think I might have said 80, but I actually meant 82. But for a size comparison, here we have Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Compsognathus, and you can see it absolutely towers over all of them, like, with ease. If we kind of pan back here and look at it, man, that thing is so much bigger than all of this stuff here. I really feel like this is one of those instances where I really don't need to do many comparisons because I don't think I have anything that would really compare well with it. And again, it's absolutely massive. Definitely a very large Compsognathus, even larger, I would say, than the other life-size compies that I have here in my collection, making this, again, like a good example of maybe an older Compsognathus because it has quite a bit of age to it, definitely has quite a bit of size to it. But you can see clearly that, again, it is huge, since all you can see here, the Papo Rex here doesn't even actually reach the knee of the compy. But for one final comparison, here we have some of the randoms that I usually use, as we have the Collectate Deluxe Dimetrodon, the Safari LTD Tyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, as well as a Mattel Velociraptor. Again, stepping in to give you an idea of the fact that this compy is huge. And again, we really didn't need this comparison because it's pretty obvious that it's absolutely massive. But just in case you had one of these figures, maybe not one of the previous figures, you'll easily be able to tell that, again, this thing is gigantic. So this brand new Dinosaur Mine Compsognathus is definitely one of the most amazing models I have ever had the pleasure of reviewing owning, painting, it doesn't matter. It's amazing. It really is, again, just one of the coolest looking things I've ever seen. Such a presence to this. It really just comes to life in the most realistic and best way possible. Like sitting here looking at it, I feel like it's just going to kind of turn and run away. It looks so lifelike, especially now with some paint application to it. The sculptor did a fantastic job on this, giving it just so much really nice, really fine detail, taking, highly detailed, I would say almost to new heights with how good the sculpt is on this compy. And I also love the fact that it has that nice little base there that it's standing on, definitely giving it, again, a really cool, very impressive visual with it kind of standing on those rocks and stuff. And as you lead up, you just can't help but, again, be just blown away by how gorgeous this is as a whole. And on top of the incredible sculpt and the incredible visual of this, the fact that it is so huge is easily one of the coolest things about it, because it's not every day you can get a dinosaur model that looks this good and is this large, and it's not every day you get the pleasure of owning a life-size dinosaur. Even though I actually now have a few compies, this actually might be my fourth, maybe, because I have the Dinosaurius version, I have the Dino Dream version, I have the Chronicle Collectibles version, but now we have this one, and I like this one because it's almost a combination between a Lost World Jurassic Park style compy and a more accurate kind of a compy. So it's almost like the best of both worlds combined into one, which I think is really cool, definitely setting it apart from so many other compy figures. And again, it really is the type of thing that you just need to buy, you need to own and build and paint for yourself and then display in your collection room. And I can assure you that no matter who it is that comes into your collection room, this is probably going to be the first thing that they notice. So if you are interested in grabbing yourself one of these amazing models, I will include a link in the description to where you can check these out on the Dinosaur Mine website. And I also have a discount code for you guys supplied by the Dinosaur Mine because they are awesome. You can use the code AndyDino at checkout and save yourself 15% off on any purchase that you want from the Dinosaur Mine. Definitely a lot of stuff on there. Again, all kinds of amazing dinosaur models, easily the best dinosaur models that I think I've ever seen in my life. You'll find a large collection of those on the Dinosaur Mine. So make sure you check that website out. Grab yourself some models because we really need to help that website become a success. We really need to get them some orders and stuff so that they can continue to bring us amazing dinosaur models like the one you see here before you. So if you are interested, again, check that description. Go grab yourself this or any of the other amazing models that they have on the Dinosaur Mine. Use that discount code to save yourself a little money, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.